Today we're going to learn about culture in social organization. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the meaning of culture, identify elements of culture, appreciate cultural diversity, and explain the importance of culture in the society. So let's begin. Number one, what is culture? And we're going to define culture as the way of life of a group of people. This includes how people speak, dress, eat, worship, and relate with each other. So culture can be learned and not inherited. This means we learn culture from our parents, we can learn it from elders, community, or school. For example, the language you speak at home or the food you eat during ceremony is part of your culture. So, I want you to pause and mention one cultural practice from your community. Okay, let's continue. Number two are the elements of culture. Now, culture is made up of different parts called elements. Let us look at the main elements. And part A, we have language. Language is the main tool of communication in a community. It helps people share ideas, knowledge, and traditions. Examples include Kiswahili, we have English, we also have indigenous languages like Kikuyu, Luo, Kalenjin, Luya, and so many others. And now, language is important because it helps us preserve our culture and identity. Part B, food. Different communities have different traditional foods. These foods are prepared and eaten based on cultural practices. For example, the Luya community love eating ugali and chicken. Githeri is mostly preferred by Kikuyu community. Fish is mostly eaten by the Luo community. So these foods are often used during ceremonies like weddings and festivals. Part C is dressing. Traditional dressing shows identity and values of a community. For example, Maasai, they use shuka. Kitenge are used by some communities like Kikuyus and Luos, and traditional beads are also used by Maasais. So dressing may also show age, gender, or marital status. Clothing and ornaments can show whether someone is married or not. For example, in Kenya, among the Maasai Still community, I think this one is the best community to use as an example. Married women wear heavier and more elaborated beadwork compared to unmarried. Now you see the difference. That certain necklaces and head piercings show a woman is married. And among the Kikuyu community, traditionally setting, a married woman wore specific clothing like lesos and head coverings. And then married girls used to dress differently and more simple. In modern Kenya, married people may wear wedding rings to show marital status. So this helps the community understand a person's social position. In conclusion, we can see that dressing in Kenya communities helps to identify the gender, show age, and marital status. So it is therefore not just about appearance, but also about identity and communication in the society. Part D, beliefs and religion. Beliefs explain what people accept as true. They guide how people behave and make decisions. Examples include believing in God, believing in ancestors, moral beliefs like honesty and respect. Part E, customs and traditions. Customs are accepted ways of behaving in a society. Traditions are practices passed from one generation to another. Examples like marriage ceremonies, initiation rites, and naming ceremonies. 3. Cultural diversity. What do we mean by cultural diversity? Cultural diversity refers to the existence of different cultures in one country or society. Like Kenya is a good example of a cultural diversity country because it has many ethnic communities. It has different people speaking different languages, different traditions. And when we talk about cultural diversity, it teaches us how to tolerate one another, how to respect one another, and peaceful coexistence. So we should respect all the cultures even if they are different from ours. 4. Importance of culture in society. Culture is very important in society, and let us look at why. Number 1, it gives us identity. So culture will help people know who they are and where they belong. Number 2, it promotes unity. Shared culture brings people together and strengthens relationship. 3, it guides behavior. Culture will teach you values such as respect, honesty, and responsibility. So it is these values that guide how people behave in the society. 4, preserves history. Culture helps community pass knowledge and traditions from the past to the present. Number 5, it promotes social organizations. So culture defines roles such as parents, children, elders, and leaders. This will help society to function smoothly. Some quick questions for you. Mention 2 elements of culture. Why is culture diversity important in society? To summarize this, culture is essentially the way of life of a group of people. It is how they think, act, and express themselves. It includes things like language we speak, the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and even the festivals we celebrate. And remember, culture is something we learn. We do not inherit it. We pick it up from our families and communities and the world around us. And when we break down the elements of culture, we have language, which is a huge part of culture because it's how we communicate and pass on traditions. Then we have food, which every culture has its own unique dishes that tells the story. We also look at traditional dressing that people often wear, which reflects identity. Beliefs and religion also form a key part of culture, and this shapes how people see the world. And then we have customs. These are daily practices like ceremonies or rites of passage that are passed down over generations. Once we understand these elements, we can see that cultural diversity is really important. In many countries, including Kenya, we have many ethnic groups, each with their own culture. And that diversity is a strength because it brings creativity, new ideas, and helps us learn from each other. When we respect different cultures, we build a more peaceful and united society. So as we wrap up, remember, culture gives us identity. It brings us together and it guides us in how we live. Next time, think of how culture shapes you. Thank you for joining and see you in the next lesson.